I'm here at Worldcon in Helsinki and taking the opportunity to catch up with Alan Stroud. Alan, we've spoken to before, mainly about LaveCon and his work related to that. So, yeah, just taking the opportunity to catch up with him about his upcoming book and Fantasycon and things to that ilk. So tell us about your upcoming book, The Forever Man.
Sure. So it's quite exciting that after 10 years, when I finished writing The Forever Man, we're finally gonna see it published. It's the first book that I wrote, I guess, seriously. After completing my research masters in creative writing, I realized that most of the stuff that I'd done prior to that wasn't very good, and The Forever Man was the first thing that I went, actually, I'm going to try and do this and apply all the things that I've learned. As a book, it's kind of a crime fantasy, to be fair. It starts with a very simple crime plot. I've heard other writers say that if you're stuck for a plot, then have someone die and have a body turn up in a random location and see, how the investigation plays out. And essentially, The Forever Man begins with the body of a young girl being found in a library, and then the circumstances evolve from there. We have two main protagonists who get involved, and then several peripheral characters who sort of help them. But it starts to pull together some of the ideas I had in relation to portals between worlds, different concepts of what reality is, and the idea of being able to change things. We all have regrets. We all have things that happen, and you wish you could go back on. And actually, in the circumstances of Dr. Andrew Pride, he ends up in a situation where he can kind of go back on something that greatly affected his life. In terms of sort of writing inspirations, I guess it's got a little bit of Michael Moorcock. Probably a little bit of Robert Holstock, and I guess it has a modern urban fantasy style to it. So, you might be thinking of something quite English, but maybe a little Jim Butcher to it in terms of what's there. But it tries to deal with sort of weaving some mythology subjects into this idea of a crime plot. And taking it in a direction that perhaps wasn't necessarily the way you thought it would go after the first couple of chapters. So I'm excited. Hopefully we're going to be able to get it all finished and ready by the start of October, just in time for a launch at Fantasycon.
You're keeping yourself well busy. I mean, between running a convention and getting a book finished in time for it. But is there anything still on the cards in terms of because you've done a lot of work in the gaming world and writing for that. I mean, you still got things on the cards for that?
Yeah, no, I'm working on Phoenix Point at the moment, which is Snapshot Games have just done the crowdfunding for. It's come in at around $800,000, which is great. And having worked on Chaos Reborn with them now, I'm a professional games writer, as it were. So I'm actually more involved this time. Last time I was doing the background and some tie-in fiction. This time there's some tie-in fiction, the background, but also we're working on the live narrative. I'm working on that with Jonas Karatz, who is or Karatzis, who is a Greek writer and known for the Talos Principle, which was the last game he worked on. And that's quite dark, so we're writing a set of stories, and we've done that through the crowdfunding campaign, but we're continuing that. So there's planned to be some ebook releases of those as well, but they're actually, at the moment they're freely available. So, but we're going to present them and do a bit more work to them too, to kind of give a really good presentation.
Alan, it all sounds fantastic. There's so much positive on the go for you, and thanks for talking to us and taking the opportunity to catch up with us, and good luck with everything.
Thank you, and absolute pleasure, as always.